Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What up, Jasmine? Welcome everybody to Late Night Live number 56. That was a weird long pause in the music there. Apparently that song has a long break after it. Now, I have a question for everybody real quick, sort of before we get started too quick here. I have a new microphone, and I'm using over-the-head headphones today. I'm giving it a test out. Hopefully the cables don't get in the way too much of my writing, but I just want to make sure that everything sounds and looks good. Obviously music levels and everything sounds different to me because I'm in different headphones, and this is a brand new microphone. I've never used it before, so please let me know what's going on. Kim, what up? Z? All right. So many people. Wait, you can't hear me. Can you really not hear me? Or is Diego just being a punk? What up, George? So many people here. What up, Lori? Yeah, see? Diego just being a punk. I knew it. Don't mess with me, Diego. Alright. Yeah, if everything sounds good, that's awesome. This sounds better to me. In earbuds, when I'm writing, I don't know. It makes my own voice sound all weird and stuff like that. So long as everything sounds good, that's good. This screen is very bright up here. We're gonna chill that out a little bit. Nice. So many people. What's going on? We got Jay in the house. We got Kim not lurking. We got Lori not lurking. Now the big question. It's early. I was gonna wait till I ask. But the big question is Lurker Leon here? And the question is, if Lurker Leon is here, is he gonna say anything? Because he's never typed in the chat before. But we know for a fact that he's been here a whole lot in the past. So we'll see if Lurker Leon's here or not. I'm guessing he's here, or he may not be here yet, but he's gonna be here. Same with Lurker James. He'll pop in with a dab emoji one of these moments. It might be early still. I don't know that everybody jumps on quite so quick. So many, Ojo Swinny, there was a lot of people at Iampith came up to me and were like, "Hey Mike, I have a confession. I lurk in your late night lives, and I've never actually chatted in them." There was quite a few people, which was surprising, but also kind of awesome, because I don't mind if people want to lurk. It's more fun if they chat, but yeah. Lots of lurkers. So we just sort of assume that they're here. Oh my goodness. We haven't done a late night live in 3 weeks. 3 weeks we took off. That's bananas. Hey, that's alright. That's an okay thing to admit. There are worse things. George, I'm very glad to hear that you are feeling better and that health is back. I don't know if you're 100% yet, or I know you're back in your studio and you're writing, so that's awesome. I'm really glad to see that. That's cool. Sorry that you had a little bit of a downward fall there after convention. You can't hear the music? Well, that's not good. Alright, let's crank the music for you guys. You guys let me know, is that volume good for the music? Yeah, it's never fun when you see people under the weather after such a... Iampith week takes a lot out of you. It's a whole lot of hours of stuff and not a whole lot of hours of sleep. So it could be a rough week. All right, let's get warmed up. How we feeling today? Writing. First late night live in 3 weeks. Oh, what's going on? I mean, if you don't have to go hard at Iampith to be exhausted. Even if you don't stay up super late, it's a long week. Just the classes, I mean, all the information you're taking in. If you happen to be one of the crazies who stays up super late, then it's even more. I think the most intense was one of my first years. I think it was my second or third Iampith. I think in like the 7 days I was there, I slept 24 hours total, which equals like a maximum of 2 or 3 hours a night, I think it was, that's unhealthy, but it's Iampith. And when I'm at Iampith, I am fueled by the power of Iampith. Zoom in a little bit more, get our zoom or focus fixed. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about the flood. That was madness. I remember when I went to the bar, after the whole flooding, I took a video of basically the roof, like, caving in on the second floor. And I went to the bartender in the lobby to get a drink, and I asked him, because it was 10 already, and they normally were closing at 10. I said, "What time do you close?" And he said, "I usually stay open when there's people here." But previously, the nights prior, they'd been closing around 10 or just after that, I think. And I said, "Oh, well, like, it's flooding upstairs, so there's a good chance there's going to be a lot of people down here." And he goes, "Oh, what do you mean flooding?" And he had no idea. I showed him a video, of what was going on. So many people from up there were coming down to the lobby. And then I said, "Don't worry, there's going to be lots of people here tonight." And he's like, "Yeah, people always say that. They say they're going to go for dinner, and then that they're all going to come back, but then they never do." I said, "Don't worry, man. Watch this video. This is proof that there's going to be people here." And I think we were in the lobby. I mean, the bar wasn't open the whole time, but there was people in the lobby, gosh, till at least 3 or 4, I think. Yeah, bartender Phil, yep. Actually, I think that was Phil. I know, Diego, you had the hookup with Phil. I didn't know the bartenders by name. But yeah, we kept things going that night. That was fun. I didn't post a single thing from Iampith on Instagram, which is horrible. I still have yet to put together my sort of accumulation post of the whole week. I got to do that one of these days. I warned everybody before Iampith that historically I don't usually take my phone out all that much during the week because I get lost in having a good time there. But luckily, a lot of other people took photos, so I have to go through those photos and post some to sort of show how awesome of a week it was. And I'll do that one of these days. Very good times. Got to meet so many people who hang out on Tuesdays in person, which is obviously awesome. But the wine survived. That's all that matters. I was just really glad that after the banquet, the kitchen staff offered, or we asked, and they said they would. They took Neil's certificate that Jake made through the kitchen, because there was an inside way of getting back to the hotel. Unfortunately, the attending people, we weren't allowed to go that way, but they were able to take Neil's certificate through the kitchen, so it didn't have to go through that rain, because that would have potentially been catastrophic. Maybe not. It could have been protected, but it's very nice to keep it inside. Alright, What am I doing today? I feel like I'm just writing today. I feel like I don't really have any plans. I didn't plan anything for our first late night live back. I was just gonna doodle. If anybody has suggestions of what to write, we can write that. I'm gonna start it off by writing "Save the Wine," because obviously. Lost my first hairline. I don't know if that's my ink right now or my nib that caused that to happen. We'll see. It happened again. Save the wine. How many exclamation points is that? 2? 2. Oh, that's too long. Whoopsies. Oops. Alright. Shades aren't feeling that controlled yet. This is gonna get annoying, I can tell already. I should put it down through my shirt, maybe? It's not that long. Okay, that's a problem. I might have to change inks or nibs. Ew. I can't move my head too much. Diego, today's nib and ink combo, although it might change in a moment here, I'm using a Leonard Principle with McCaffrey's ink. But it seems to be hard starting for me for some reason. It could be this nib is incredibly scratchy, so it could be the nib, but it also could be, just want to make sure that I'm at a good angle in the flange, and then I'm going to take a look at it through the loop. Oh, just Winnie, I would put the cords behind my back, but unfortunately I need to get an extender. The cords aren't long enough to make it to my computer. So they're going under my desk right now, and they're sort of, that's their limit. So they're not long enough. If I had an extender, which I will get one, I would put them behind my back. Or just under my t-shirt or something like that. But for today, they're just gonna have to be where they are. But that's okay. What up, Hody? I guess I could also use Walker's copperplate ink today, since I got that from Hody. Thank you very much for passing that on to me, Hody. You have to let me know what I owe you for that. Yes, it is a rookie. Well, I guess it's a rookie mistake. I honestly don't remember the last time I used headphones. They're just more comfortable. And before, my microphone used the headphone jack in my laptop. So I could never use headphones. I used my Bluetooth headphones. But now that I'm using a USB microphone, which apparently sounds good, hopefully it sounds good, I have my headphone jack open. So I figured I would give it a shot. And, yeah, seems to be working. Okay, nib is clean. Is my ink gonna behave, or do I have to change ink or nib? I could smooth this nib out a little bit too. Nope, it did it again. And it's flat in there. It's good after the first stroke. It's just that first stroke. Oh, I didn't know Lori and Kim. I didn't know you guys made a video going through the archive room. That's fun. I didn't see that. The archive room is amazing. I wish there was more time. What up, Ashok? Welcome. Whoa! Yep, okay, we have a problem here. We're gonna try a different ink. And see, we're gonna swap two. Weird. I was using this ink earlier today and it was working really good. I don't know what changed. Let's go to... My ink has stage fright, perhaps? I don't get stage fright, but my ink does, maybe. Yeah, George, I wish my hairlines were so fine you couldn't even see them. Sometimes with some inks you get there. It's sort of like that, but that is not when I can hear my nib scraping and I can't see anything. It's just problematic. Oh, Lurker James? What up, Lurker James? Do. Oh, I didn't see Ashok's question about the ruling pen. Take my ink and nib to tap class? Alright, let's see. Alright, Walker's copperplate ink. Brought to you by Hody from Hong Kong, or I guess given from Hody to Kahlo, and then brought from her from Hong Kong to Omaha for me. Wait, this ink did it too. That might mean it's just my nib. The flow of both of these is really good once it gets going. Whoops, too short. Fat. Oh, got you, Ashok. Okay, cool. I do like Walker's, James. It's very smooth. I will say I wish that the hairlines were a little bit lighter. That being said, this is a brand new jar, and I might add a little bit more water to it, and that might give me the hairline that I'm looking for. I think I'm a little spoiled though, because I've been using blots for so long. And the McCaffreys that I use it quite thin down, so my hairlines are quite light. No, it doesn't go on gray. It goes on, well, I mean, you can see it. It goes on quite dark. Like, it doesn't write like the color changing iron galls do. The Cornelissen inks. I've never tried those. There wasn't ink. Apparently the next batch wasn't as good. George, were you... I don't remember if you were part of the conversation with Marcus at Iampith about an ink. I don't remember who made it, but there was a guy a couple years ago, who made an ink that was apparently like magic. But only his first, like his next batches were good, but not as good as the first batch. It was just like magically perfect. Okay, this ink did it as well. So what we're going to do, I'm gonna see what happens if I just grab a brand new Leonard. This guy won't get thrown away, but he's gonna be put to the side. He's in a timeout. It might just be a little scratchy and need to be chilled out. Now that I'm writing with Iron Gall pretty much all the time, we'll see. There's so many inks that I have to try now. The problem is I don't want to have to try a bunch of inks. I just want one ink that works perfect. Give me one black ink, and then I just want like a bucket of it. I want to just have a ton of it. It's like a nib. Give me one good nib that works good, and I'll buy like 500 of them, and then I'm good. Then I don't have to buy anything else. People at Paper Ink Arts and John Neal Books won't like me very much. But, oh here, let me, where are my, oh, flange pliers, where are you? I put them away right before the stream, and now I can't find them. Where are they? They're in this thing, I just can't reach them. They're in with my scissors. Don't cut your hand off, Mike. Where the heck? Ugh. Here they are, all the way at the bottom. They're good to put in timeout. Back in the day, I used to, once my like Iron Gall nibs or my like practice nibs would act up, I would put them in timeout. And then they would get used for white ink and other things like that, and just practice when I didn't really care about hairlines and whatnot. Now pretty much all of my nibs, when they're not working perfectly, they just get put off to the side, and then I get a bunch of, I have a ton of just off to the side nibs, or nibs in timeout, that I pick from. Now what I'm doing now, I don't know if I've showed this little, I don't know if it's not a pro tip, some people probably don't like it, but it's something I do quite a bit. This flange is set up for a Leonard principle and a Hunt 101. It can kind of accommodate both. But when it fits, you know when the flange is like too perfect, so it holds, but it doesn't hold super tight. I don't want to change the real geometry or the shape of the flange, because I like that it is the same shape as the nib and it holds sort of, but not too tight. Because I don't want to, if your flange forces the nib out this way or tighter, it changes the angle of the very tip of it. So what I like to do is pinch, I know my camera's out of focus, but I pinch this very back corner, because then when I put the nib in, it's already semi-tight, but when it gets to that back corner, it just sort of like, and then that holds it in place just a little bit better. When I just want just a little bit more firm hold on my nibs. Oh yeah, Kim, everybody's got to have a nib timeout tin or a nib timeout box. Prep this nib real quick. I can't remember if this is one of the ones that I cleaned. I prepped a whole bunch before I amp it so that I wouldn't have to do toothpaste or potato or any of that jazz when I was at convention. And we're gonna cross our fingers that this is one of them. And it should now be good to go. And it is. Okay. All right, brand new Leonard Principle. Let's see what you got. No, George. Don't let your nibs put you in timeout. That's backwards. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Wispy. Super wispy. And this nib isn't having a slow, hard start. So maybe that nib is just worn out. I gotta get this transition. Maybe we'll work on that for a little bit today. This horizontal oval here, the entry oval, transitioning into that top angled oval used in the G, like I'm doing here, the L, the S, the one variation of the capital E. That transition, I don't know why, my muscles trip out. And I'm not very, you can see consistency-wise on these upper little ovals. The consistency is just not there. Oh, the C as well. Like so. Whoa, that's a C that's got a super underbite. That could afford to be a little bit shorter. All right. Ooh. What up, John Carlo? Welcome. Here, you guys want to see my nib timeout? I might have to start cleaning my nibs with water one of these days. I've been using walnut ink for so long that I stopped using water entirely. Let's see here. Where is one of my nib timeouts? So this is a nib timeout. Those are all nibs that are in timeout. And then there's a few boxes like this of timeout nibs that are still good, but just not good enough. And then there are also the nib timeouts that are maybe you guys will like this one. They're the timeouts that are nib specific. This is this is a lot. I've never counted how many are in here, but all smooth, all one laid side by side except for this top row. These are all Leonard principles that are in timeout. Like, they're all still decent and good, or most of them are still decent and good. They're just not in the moment. They're not as good as I need them to be, so they get put in timeout. So this is timeout. They're hanging out with their brothers and sisters. There's a lot of them. And then there's another, I have another one of these that's for Gelat 303s, and then I don't think I have one for Hunt 101s. Oh, Jay, I've been putting nibs in timeout for a lot of years. That's why I started sharpening. Right? They're conspiring against me one day. No, that's why I started sharpening and refining the tips of my pens. Because I have all those, and they're still good. Like, they're not worn out. They're like, if I was on a time crunch and I got in like a nib snap and just didn't have time to realign them perfectly, timeout. They just got put to the side. So eventually, I mean, a lot of those are savable and still good for good writing. Just maybe not the best of writing. I don't know. Oh, I like that. Kinks and underbites and pot bellies. I like all the words that we come up with for the little things in our writing. I think I need to, that's like a t-shirt design. It has to be like the Gremlin crew. The kinked letters and the underbite letters. Woohoo! I'm glad to hear that the rhythms and the flow of things have been feeling really good, George. since class. That makes me very happy. That's the point of that class, so that's wicked. Really, James? Seriously? I feel like I haven't used that many nibs. I'll pitch that to Carl Roars and see if he's down with that, with the new glossary of terms for the textbook. That'll be my next page. Next time they do a revision in I don't know how many years it's gonna be before they do another revision, but I want to redo my capitals if they do a revision, and then I'll add the glossary of terms that we've come up with. What is my next class? September 22nd, which reminds me I have to get my stuff to Harvest through Acorn Arts. We are running my Shaded Spencerian class, which is Spencerian Signwriter script from the new Spencerian Compendium, which is my favorite looking style of Spencerian writing. It's not fast, although I would like to be able to do it fast one day. But it is so gorgeous. I think anyways, in my opinion. Whoops, that was supposed to go underneath the eye. Underneath the dot of the eye, but that's okay. Pizza's good. I had pizza for dinner. Hody. Good choice. I will, Jay. She's waiting. It's not on Harvest, it's on me. I've been behind in getting her my stuff and getting the page made up for the class. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Nina Tran, the way she writes Spencerian is essentially Shaded Spencerian. It's essentially Spencerian Signwriter script. It's beautiful. The way I teach it in the class is very by the book, very not strict. I don't like using that word, but it is broken down exactly how they wrote how they had the examples that are in the new Spencerian Compendium. There are no lessons in Spencerian Signwriter script out there that I could find anyway. The only books that really talk about it are the new Spencerian Compendium, really. So I took what was in there and reverse engineered it into a way that was teachable and fun. And I remember the first time I ever saw it, I saw it and said, "Oh, I'm never gonna do Engrosser script again." Nothing against Engrosser script. I like Engrosser script. I don't write it that often, but this is a style of it's like Spencerian heavy shades, but the shades follow Spencerian rules rather than Engrosser script rules, like, for example, Mataraz script or something like that, which uses Spencerian forms, but Engrosser script shading elements or shading fundamentals. Fine differences. This nib is nice. Yes, Hody, I know you're obsessed with Mataraz. What should we write tonight, you guys? What should we get up to? What should I do here? I can just keep doodling. I can keep practicing. I have decided that over the next while, the next number of months, I'm going to be dedicating a lot more of my own time to dedicated practice. There's some stuff that I want to get a lot better at, and I'm going to be doing a lot of... I won't do this tonight because it's boring, and I need to focus a lot when I do it, but this style of practice, which is repeated, I give myself target form, and then repeat the same thing over and over again, ideally after every one, comparing up here and trying to dial in everything, and I'll be working letter by letter going through it. Not going to do that tonight because, like I said, it's boring, but that is something I'm going to be doing. Also, I'll announce it here, I haven't picked the signatures yet, but Sixthling and Sunday is going to come back. I think we're going to do a September series. Maybe September, October. Maybe we'll keep it going for 2 months. We'll see how September goes. But if you guys want to, actually I would love this. Whatever, James. Be quiet. Don't get Odris when he started. If you guys want, on the Discord, jump on the Discord. If you have signatures that we haven't done for Sixthling and Sunday, and you want them to be done, in the past, I've always picked them. Like I did a Madaraz series, I did a Baronsmire series. But if there are signatures that you guys would like to visit, I know there are a couple that Dr. Joe has been tagging me in over the past little while, and one I was supposed to do at Iampath and I completely forgot. But if you want to submit some of your favorite signatures on the Discord, send them just in the OP chat thread or in the OP chat channel, and I can add them to the pool, and then we can start doing same as before. I'll post them on Sunday, and then we'll give you guys a breakdown. I'll post my video, and then you guys can post all yours, and I'll share them at the end of the week. Because it's been quite a while since we've done a series of signatures, and that's good practice for me, so I'd like to get into that again. No, Giancarlo, there's 3 things. 1 is 7 Shaded O, 2 is Twerk, and 3 is Ghetto-untial or Funtial. Those are the 3 things. Oh, can you do a G like this? I've never done this before. Oh, would that just go like this now? I guess you can do that. It's kind of weird. What up, Marilyn? How you doing? I guess because then you can put a dagger. Like, if I was doing a name. Does that look like an S? I'm not on a baseline at all. Gustavo. Ooh, hello, Rose. Long time no see. I feel like I haven't seen or chatted with Rose in forever. I mean, I haven't really been on social media in forever, so sorry about that. Oh, and Bralin's here. What up? Groovy music. I can't decide if I like that G or not. Maybe it's better if it scoops a little more. Does that even look like a G? Gus. You know what? We're gonna move the camera ever so slightly. Why does your arm hurt like hell now, Rose? What did you do? Did you post something on social media about a sore arm? Or did you have surgery? Or did you break your arm? I haven't been on social media, so I don't know anybody's news. If there's something I'm supposed to know and I don't know, I do apologize. I'm gonna change... Oh! Taking this off real quick to change my camera angle ever so slightly so I stop going out of frame. Let's put that right smack dab in the middle. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Oh, go up a little bit more. Yeah, that'll work. Keep me in frame a little more. Music. Ah, that'll get you, Rose, for sure. Did you get it in your non-writing arm? That was my request when I got mine. I had to get it in my non-writing arm so that I could still write. Oh, we're glad to have you back. We're glad to be back. It's been forever. Almost a whole month without a late night live. That is too long. Oh, shouldn't have done that. I should have left that O without an exit stroke. Hindsight 2020. I want to see what happens now. So this is... I want to see if I go back to McCaffrey's ink, if it would do that hard starting thing with this nib. Or I think it was just that other nib that needed some work. That's no good, Hody. I mean, I'm glad that the lives inspire you to practice and to put work in, but you gotta be driven. How was Iampith, Rose? It was amazing. Iampith was a fun one this year. It was a good time. At least I enjoyed it. I think everybody else enjoyed it as well. Seemed to anyways. It was very, very... Woo! That's a nice shade. Oh, that turned out really nice. I like that word. That could be clippable. If I was a scrapbooky person, I would put that in a scrapbook. What? You won't be able to twerk. Oh, just Winnie. One track mind. James, yes. So this is, now I'm on McCaffrey's. So this is going between these two. This was Brian Walker, and this is McCaffrey's. My McCaffrey's is quite watered down. It has water and a couple drops of isopropyl alcohol in it. I was experimenting. I don't know if the isopropyl alcohol did anything good, but it has been good since I put that in. So I was wanting to use ethyl alcohol, but I had isopropyl alcohol, so I used that instead. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me in the butt, but yeah, I was having an issue. It was a very specific issue where when I did, here, I'll try to do one here. I was getting hard starts, but regardless of the nib, when I would do like regular strokes starting with a hairline, were totally fine. But when I would go straight into a shade, for example, a capital A, like that, it was almost always not starting. I would just have a ghost shade, or nothing would come out. Or if I was doing a capital O like so, or something like that, when I went straight into a shade without a hairline before it, it would turn out, or there would just no ink would come down. And I was trying to figure out why it was doing that. And I was talking to Neil about it in Omaha, and he suggested that I could try to put in a couple drops of ethyl alcohol, and I just didn't have any ethyl alcohol. And I have this jar I have a bunch of McCaffrey's at home here, so with this one, I decided to try a couple. I think it's 3 drops of isopropyl alcohol are in there, and it works. The lasso. It's become one of my favorite O's. I mean, my favorite O is the Lupfer O, which is the one that page was of that I showed a few moments ago. But at the top of the Mataraz letter that Blozer wrote, they use the that O, the lasso O. The lasso O. I did something very, very strange there. Coming out of the shade, I did a compound curve up here because I was going into, I wanted to write yeehaw, but my brain decided to write a V instead of a Y, so I got a really weird looking Y. Oops. There is a difference chemically. I was Googling that, and that's because I didn't know if isopropyl alcohol would work or not, so I was Googling the difference. And then after a bunch of Googling and a bunch of scientific words that I didn't understand, I said, let's try it. I got ink to spare, so I decided to just give it a shot. Yeah, don't squeeze hand sanitizer in your jar. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's the secret. Maybe that's the magic ink. Maybe that's, like Mataraz was the guy who used the ink sticks. Maybe had he discovered hand sanitize ink, that would have been his go-to. Ooh, that stem came out very, very nice. Whew, I am loving these little hairlines today. My hand is having a good time writing today. It's in a good mood. It's missed you guys, I guess. Whoops. Well, that didn't work. I messed it up at the end. With that weird, eye that doesn't really look like an eye. Whatever it is, it's hell. Well, I didn't take any of it. Although of the sciences, I quite enjoyed chemistry. Yeah. Words are flowing out of my pen really good today. This has me in a good mood. I'm singing completely offbeat. Sorry. I'm gonna try to get in the habit of cleaning my pen more often when I'm using Iron Gall ink. Let me actually use a water jar today. Since I never... Oh, I'm almost out of water. I need water. Water. Whoop, don't spill. That'll do. How was the conference? The conference was awesome. Did I learn anything new? Did I learn anything new at conference? Yes, actually. I learned pointed pen variations from Mike Kessick. There's, oh, you can't really see it. There's my name that he wrote up there. I'd seen his class for a lot of years and I'd never been able to take it. Because I was always in other stuff at the same time and I'd been wanting to take it. I will admit I didn't do a ton of work in his class, but I primarily wanted to take it to sit and watch him write it and sort of explain some of the strokes that he does. Like his tapering strokes, which I really like, similar to the vertical strokes in like Trajans or Roman capitals, how they slightly taper in and taper out at the end. He has a really good, just really natural, smooth, minute taper to his writing, and I really wanted to see him do that in person. And yeah, I just wanted to learn that stroke, doing the his pointed pen black letter and his pointed pen unchal and things like that. Yeah, Mike Kessick's dope. He's really cool and he's a super nice guy. Probably one of the highlights of the entire convention, I would say, is for those of you who don't know, Michael Sull writes poetry, and he recites his poetry sometimes, but he has a lot of poems, and there are a few that he recites relatively often, but there are some other ones that don't get heard nearly as much. So this year, we had the idea of getting him to do them just casually, not at a banquet or anything like that, but just casually in the lobby of the hotel. And he did. He ended up reciting, I think, 3 poems over the course of the weekend. 3? No, maybe 4? I know he did The Master's Pen. I know some people heard him say The Old Penman's Home. And then he did... Obviously, he did The Legend of Johnny DeCall, which is my favorite. That was my request, and one that he hasn't recited, I think, publicly in probably 20 years. So it was nice to hear him recite that one. Yeah, it was good. Yes, you do, Lori. I mean, you don't have to, but I would enjoy that, so I can send that off to Mike and to compile something. Jay, yeah, he did. It only came out the one day. There was a group of people when he recited. I just said recite. When he read the Master's Pen, he had it to show, and then I think at one point throughout the week, Mike and Jake Weidman and Pat. I don't remember. I think Pat was there. I wasn't there when they did it, but they wrote with the Master's Pen. These hairlines are very fine, and I like it. Yeah, if you get it to me, because what we'll do, I want to try to see if I can edit it, because unfortunately, there was music in the background, and I don't think we'll be able to take that out specifically. But I want to edit a couple of the clips together, because I know, like, Neil's video cut out every 15 minutes, so there'll be little gaps in his, so I kind of want to edit a few of the angles together and put together just one cool looking video, because I know a lot of people had their cameras out. And then we will ask Mike, and if he's cool with it, we can post it somewhere. If not, we can share it privately. Yeah, me too, Jay, me too. Oh, I've never gone into that style of an M with that entry stroke before. Very fat M. Oh yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Work on that stroke. That one. That's the idea. That's fun, Marilyn. That's a good time. I'm looking forward to my next class. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna teach after that. See, we didn't go high enough. We're going out that direction instead of that direction. We gotta get more vertical. We gotta get vertical, vertical. Whoa. That's better. That was a good one. Ooh, that's fun, Rose. You should. It's gonna be a fun class. I'm looking forward to teaching it. I haven't taught it in quite a while. I mean, yeah. I think the last time I taught that was that 2019 in Singapore, I believe. Did I teach that one in the Philippines? No, I don't think so. New piece of paper. Oh, you can't really see them. I want to introduce you guys to one of my new plants. This, I bought this little guy right before I went to Iampe. I was in Canadian Tire, like a Home Depot type store, right before I went to Iampe, and this little guy was looking rather unhealthy, so I figured I would pick him up and see if I could get him back healthy, even though I was leaving town for a long time. But I had a friend coming to my house and watering them once a week, and he's looking really great. He's looking nice and healthy. His name is Benjamin because he's a Chinese money plant and he's all about the Benjamins. So that's Benjamin. He has one rough leaf that will fall off eventually, and then they'll be all clean new leaves. Alright, new piece of paper. And then over there, you can see tiny little Boston ferns. There's 2 little baby Boston ferns in that pot that grew from aerial roots from my giant Boston fern that's over there. I have, how many? 1, 2, like 5 or 6 baby ferns growing around my apartment now in little pots. And then eventually I'll get them all their own pots as they're growing. And then I won't keep them. I'll give them away or something to friends. Because I have my giant fern. I might keep one of them. Maybe the first one, which is one of those 2. The first baby that I've grown from an aerial root. Oh, that's... Did Hurricane Henry do a good job of watering your plants, or did he water them and then rip them out of the ground and send them across the neighborhood? Yes, Kim, that is correct. Registration isn't open yet, but hopefully it will soon. I'll make a post when it is. Giancarlo, one of my favorite things is naming my plants. They all have fun names. I'm gonna write my plant names. Here we go. I won't be able to show them all on video because some of them are too big to bring over here, but I will write them all. So my first plant that I got in this apartment that I'm a huge fan of is Rasta. Rasta is my giant Boston fern. He's called Rasta because he's like dreadlocks. I've had a big Boston fern in every apartment I've lived in for the past since like 2006, I guess. I've always had one. Normally I travel too much and I've never been able to keep one really healthy for a long time, and this guy is thriving, so I'm stoked. Alright, plant number 2, my second biggest plant, is Wait, I should put what he is. Just in lowercase letters. Here we go. Rasta, the Boston fir. Money domination. Benjamin's name was almost Cheddar, because people also call money Cheddar sometimes. It was almost Cheddar. That was his original name. But I decided I didn't like it, so I changed it. My next big plant is... What's in my throat? Whoa. Whoops. Let me redo that stem. That's not a very good stem. That's better. Mash. Mash is a Monstera deliciosa, one of the plants with all the fenestrations in his leaves. He's getting bigger, but I think I don't get quite enough light in my plant for him, or in my apartment for him to grow super big leaves. While I was away at Iampith, he has a bunch of new big leaves growing now, and a lot of his small, like, baby leaves have like shriveled up and died, and I don't think that's because he's unhealthy. I feel like he's just giving more attention into growing the big leaves, so the smaller sort of ones that were damaged and not in good shape when I bought him are drying up and fading away, which is kind of a good thing. No plants named, I mean, not yet. Maybe if I get more money plants, I can name them Looney and Tooney. But I call him Mash because he's a Monstera deliciosa, and I like the song Monster Mash. So he's a Monstera Mash, is his full name technically, Monstera Mash. I might spell this wrong. But if I do, that's okay. Mash, the Monstera deliciosa. Lurker Renee! What up, Lurker Renee? Oh, you're in Maryland's lesson. That's fun. Hey, taking it slow is a great plan. Ooh, I asked at the beginning, but I gotta ask again, because maybe he's here now. Lurker Leon, are you here? Are you here, Lurker Leon? Are you sitting at your computer with your, with your bourbon and your writing pad in front of you? I'm calling you out, Lurker Leon, if you're here. We'll see, you might not be here today. Oh, Coffee Lover! I don't even see Coffee Lover say hi. What up, man? Super nice to meet you in person. I hope you had a good rest of your trip with your fam jam on the way home. Sounds like we're doing a seance. Alright, what do we got next? Who's the next plant? So the next plant I got was my snake plant. And if anybody watched Karate Kid, my snake plant is named Creed. Creed, the snake plant. And that's because the founder of Cobra Kai in the Karate Kid, his name was Creed, and Cobra Kai is a snake. How do I decide on the names? I usually think up ideas, and then I send them to a bunch of friends, and I kind of let my friends help me decide which one I like best. And some of the names don't stick, like I'll name one, and I'll decide that it's going to be named a certain thing, and then after a while, I kind of change my mind. Oof, that's quick to get all the way back to LA. Nice. Good job, kiddos. I guess, were they stocked up on art supplies from Paper and Ink Arts for the drive home? Alright, who do we got next? Next we'll do my trio of Ivies, which 2 of them are right there. Right here we have Trinity, and then beside her we have Morpheus. And then Neo is over there in front of the window. Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity. The English Ivy, I believe they are. Trinity. Not sure if I spelled Morpheus right, but that's okay. Yeah, I can imagine. Paper Ink Arts and John Neal, they have a way of thinning the wallet. The crazy thing about Trinity, Morpheus, and Neo, I got them for this bookshelf, for what they're doing now, but I got them to like go on a bookshelf and cascade down to the floor, but Ivy doesn't grow that fast. At least indoors it doesn't grow that fast. So it's not the best plant for trailing down a bookshelf. Oh, did they do... I found the ticket in my pocket the other day. Did they do a draw? Was I supposed to be paying attention to a draw or to win something? I was doing laundry the other day and I found my ticket. That's me. Alright, who else do we got? Well then, the next one that I will say... Who do I want to talk about next? We'll go... Next, I got Sumi. Is there a bug on my table? Or was there? Oh, there might be. My window's open, so it's possible. Here, one sec, Marilyn. I'm gonna read that question better after I write the word Sumi. Simple Sumi. Sumi is a succulent that lives in a vintage inkwell. And I got it as an experiment to see if it could survive. That's why, I mean, I named it Sumi because it's in an inkwell. I will eventually have a bunch. I will have a Sumi, I will have an Iron Gall, but I'll think of cooler names than Iron Gall. It'll be like, it'll just be Gall maybe, or I don't know, Igall, not sure. I'll think of something, or it'll be simple. But I'll get different. There'll be a walnut. Sumi. Uh-oh. I'm gonna double check how to spell this here. Yeah. I'm not sure what... I think it's an aloe. I think it is what it actually is. Oh, Kim's going to bed. Good night, Kim. Sorry I didn't see your message. Right, oh. Hody's having her pizza. When you go from your T to your Y, do you do an underturn and an underturn or a compound curve into the downstroke? That's a good question. When I go from my T to my Y, from a lowercase t well, I have a downstroke from here into a compound curve to that downstroke. Sometimes when I'm writing fast, they can end up looking like an underturn, but they're not an underturn. They are a compound curve. But I will say when I'm going quick, sometimes they can be a little underturny and they get a little sharp. All right, who do we got next? Feagle. Ooh, I like that. That's like Smeagol. Feagle. Master's our friend. Feagle. Smeagol. Okay. Who's next? We got Sumi. Then we have... Who haven't I talked about yet? Then we have Ernie and Bert. Ernie and Bert. I wrote those a little bigger than I had intended to. They are the Pothos. And they are huge now. Yeah, Marilyn, that's exactly why it's supposed to be a compound curve. Because it looks like it's going into... It's like a U as well. It looks like an IJ. Yeah. Of course. Oh, just when he wants the accent. I mean, Gollum is one of my favorite voices to do. I used to do it all the time. Okay, who we got next? Is that it for plants? That can't be it. No, because then we got... Right, we have Benjamin, who is the penultimate plant, I think. He's the second last plant on our list. Benjamin. That's not the proper name, Chinese money plant. I think it's Pelea pepperomelia. I don't know how to say it, let alone spell it. But that's Benjamin. And then I just want to make sure that I'm not forgetting anybody. I haven't named the baby ferns. They don't have names yet. They'll have names when they get a little bit bigger. They're not quite substantial enough to have names yet. But then the last one is a plant I literally bought the day before I left for Iampith, because I've been looking for one for a long time, and I haven't found one in any stores. I found a girl on the Facebook Marketplace selling cuttings of this plant, and she said she got hers 3 years ago, and she hasn't seen one in stores since. So any chance she can to get cuttings from her mother plant, she does. And she tries to sell them to people like me because they're rather hard to find. And that is Night Blooming Jasmine, which isn't technically a jasmine, but it is one of the most beautiful smelling plants in the world. So yeah, Night Blooming Jasmine. And I'm not set on the name. My friend Jen, who, I don't know, she could be lurking in the chat today. She sometimes lurks in the videos. My friend Jen wants me to name my Night Blooming Jasmine plant Jasmine. But to me, that's boring and predictable and not that exciting. And because it's night blooming, I was thinking it's awake at night, so I was gonna name it Night Owl. But then it's weird having two names as a name. So then when I thought Night Owl, I was gonna name it Owl, just Owl. And then when I got thinking of Owl, I'm currently halfway through the Harry Potter series for like the billionth time in the audiobooks. Just something I turn on from time to time. So instead of Owl, I think I'm gonna name my Night Blooming Jasmine Hedwig. I think. They smell so amazing. I had one in the backyard I lived in when I was in LA, in the jungle that I lived at, and it was amazing. So I've wanted one since then, and I finally got one. It had a rough time when I was away because it was just a cutting, so it wasn't fully rooted quite yet. I watered it when I got home, and it's doing okay now, but the full week without water was a little much for it, I think, but it's doing okay now. But I think Hedwig is the name I'm going with, for now anyways. It may change, we'll see. Hedwig. I was thinking of like words for nocturnal and stuff like that, but none of them were, I wasn't liking the sound of them. I really like the sound of night owl, which is what got me to Hedwig eventually. It's either going to be, I'm pretty sure, Hedwig, or I might default back to night owl. I'm not sure. But for now, Hedwig. I like that. Uh-oh, I ran out of space. Is there an E on the end of Night Blooming Jasmine? There is, right? Yes, there is. And I think, unless I'm forgetting somebody, but I don't think I am, that's all my plants. That's very true, Coffee Lover, that's true. H-E. How many plants is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 11 plants. I never really thought about it. I didn't realize I had 11 plants in this tiny apartment of mine. I could. Naming plants is so fun. Here, I'll show you guys Sumi. I'll get Sumi here. Sumi has grown quite tall actually. There's Sumi. Planted in a vintage inkwell, in the little glass inkwell. And it was an experiment. I didn't know if it would survive in here, but it's been in here for a really long time now, and it's got bigger. Yeah, Sumi, here, we'll put you back here. Where will we put you? I gotta take my headphones off and put you back where you belong. Oh, Fozzie's here. Fozzie, I just went through. You got here right at the very end. All of my plant names. Rasta, Mash, Creed, Trinity, Morpheus, Neo, Sumi, Ernie and Bert, Benjamin, and Hedwig. All of my plants in my house. With the exception of my baby ferns, which there's 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, 6. I don't know how many of those there are. They're super small though. They're not named yet. They might not get names. because I will probably not keep them. I will let somebody else grow them. Well, that was fun. Dead, crispy, and crunchy. Those are great names, James. Yeah, the Pelea. Actually, I showed him on screen. Oh, he got so much bigger while I was gone. He's doing so good. He's so much healthier than when I bought him. This is Benjamin. Say hi, Benjamin. Tee hee hee. Oh. You sit back there. Hang out with the pylon. Yeah, it was. I probably should have waited till Fozzie was here when I talk about all my plants, but eh. Dead, crispy, crunchy, crusty. Oh man. Red, stripe, cool blue, orange, yellow, and so on. That works, John. I like it. I don't know. I've always liked naming plants. I think it's fun to name them. They have little personalities. Or maybe I'm just crazy. Dead, crispy. You've mentioned that pen before, I think, Marilyn. That's fun. It's fun to name things. That's very true, George. I like that. That should be a t-shirt. Not like a penmanship t-shirt, but in general, that should be a t-shirt. Or that's a good quote. If you don't name your plants, you're basically just leaving salad around your house. That's hilarious. I need to write that down. After I write the word crunchy. Whoops. That's even more appropriate for Fozzie then. Exactly. This she-work. My shades are coming out quite nice. I'm a fan of these Leonard Principles today. This is a brand new one already. It's starting to scratch up a little bit. Oh, Iron Gall, what you do to me. Name your garden? Oof. You know everything in your garden? No, you can't name your garden because then you end up eating your pets that you named. You get attached to them if you name them things. Nice, James. Right on. Oh, man. That's good. Yeah, crispy crunchy. Oh, George, resacking vintage fountain pens is so easy though. It's so easy. If you don't name your plants, you're basically ugh, my descenders are garbage. There we go. If you don't name your plants, you're basically just leaving salad around your home. These words of insight brought to you by Life in Praxis. Yes, you can send them to me if you want me to resack them. I mean, depending on what they are. I think I still have sack shellac around. I haven't resacked a pen in a really long time. I used to do it all of the time. Oh, George, I'll be there. Hopefully I'll be there. I should be there this year again at the Philly show. What kind of pens are they, George? Do they just need sacks? Like, are they just old, like, Watermans or Esterbrooks that just need sacks? Because that's honestly, you don't have to pay a repair person to do that. Those are easy repairs, but it depends on what they are, I guess. What's resack? I'll explain it a little bit better. Actually, here. I'll be right back. If I go in this drawer... Is it this drawer? No. This drawer. No. Where are they? Not in there. Is it in this drawer? Give me 2 seconds. I can't remember where they are. The leather drawer. There it is. So, for example, in this box right here, this is just a few, this is some old pens. But if we look in here, which one of these can I take apart easily? Does this one have a sack in it? We'll do this little guy. So in the pen, that if a pen has a lever filler, what this lever does is it squishes a sack that's inside. And I don't think there's a sack in this one, so I can show you. Come in. So on the end here, a sack, just basically like a little rubber bag, essentially fits right over top of this. And to resack, literally all you do, this is actually a dry sack. So this just needs to be crunched away. I think that's a sack. Nope, that's clean. Okay, so you just put sack shellac on there, and you just put a rubber sack on there, and you're done. And you let it dry, and you're finished. Easy peasy. If it doesn't come open, like this one did, then you just heat it up a little bit. And they come open. Let me find one with a sack in it. Oh, so this one, here's a good example. This one needs a new sack. This sack dried up. But so you can see the sack that's there. That's now, obviously, it's dried up. And it's crumbled right here. So now this, it's still rubbery. So you just peel this off of the nipple. And then you put sack shellac on there. Put a new sack on. And you're good. Actually, let me just rip that off now while I can. It's quite easy. Yeah, that's a crunchy sack. I don't know if any in here have good sacks in them or not. I don't want to push these ones too hard because I haven't had them open in a while. That one's an eyedropper. No, this one doesn't have one either. Okay, none of these have sacks in them, so this is a bad demonstration. Give me 1 second. But is it crunchier than James Plant's? Maybe comparable. Okay. Esterbrook's. One of these Esterbrook's should have a sack in it. Not that one. Not that one. That one has a crunchy sack in it. Where are all the ones that I resacked? They should be in here. Does this one have a sack in it? Ooh, this one does. Whoa, this one has liquid ink in it. Eee. Which means this one needs to be cleaned off. Fountain pens are very messy. I always forget. Welcome back, Diego. There's a sack in there. I'm doing a horrible... I thought I would just be able to show you really quick what a sack was. But none of my pens are coming apart today. Because I haven't used them in a very long time. Does this one have a sack in it? That one does too. Can I get it open easily? No. I want to heat them up, but I don't want to bother getting my heat pen and everything going. What about this wall? Pretty sure it has a sack in it. It does. And this sack is still good. There we go. So there is a sack. So what happens is when you squeeze this lever, or when you lift this lever, this little lever here, it pinches the sack. And then when you put it in the ink, you let go, sucks it all up like an eyedropper, and you're good to go. But yeah, if your pen is just a simple like lever filler, the sacks are really easy to redo. I obviously haven't done one in a very long time because none of my pens are sacked apparently. But it is quite simple, and there's a ton of videos and stuff to do it, and the sacks are really cheap. You can get a bunch of them. They're cost effective. Let me just put these on the floor for now. Good evening, Devin. Oh, every time I touch a fountain pen, like to do a modification or anything, fountain pen ink is the worst. It's the worst. Every time I mess with my fountain pens, I get inky. Calligraphy inks don't stain my fingers. Fountain pen inks do. Yeah, Rotring ink will do that. Do I have any? I don't have any wood pen. Well, the only wood pen... It's not a wood casing. Sorry, this has turned into a pen show and tell all of a sudden. I apologize. The only wood pen that I have is this one, which is my Pilot Vanishing Point, but it has black bamboo finish on it. So it's not one of the shiny resin ones or plasticky ones. It's a bamboo, and I originally got it because I really like wood, but also it is marginally lighter than a standard Vanishing Point, which I really like. Nope, this isn't custom. This was it was a number of years ago. The black bamboo is probably tough to find now. The red bamboo was more common, but they're still around, and you'd be able to find used ones and whatnot as well. But it wasn't a custom made one. But yeah, this was my go-to pen for business penmanship practice and whatnot when I didn't feel like using a dip pen for a long time. But lately, I swapped it out for the Decimo, which it's funny because my Decimo is it's a thinner pen, but it's heavier than that one because that one is bamboo. I wish they made a Decimo in bamboo because the Decimo is a little bit thinner. And I have small hands, so I like the thinner pen. But I put that same nib unit in my Decimo, so now this has become my everyday just note-taking and business penmanship and whatever writing pen that stays out at my desk. And then these are the modern pens. This one has a super sharp, extra fine nib on it. And this is a Franklin Christoph. Same with this one. Whoa. These are my modern pens. All the vintage ones are over there. I don't have any TWSBI. I have these two Franklin Christoph, and then this nib is like a... I don't use this one very much, but it's a stub. Oh, is it dry? I was just writing with it a couple days ago. Dip it in water to hydrate. There we go. So it gives me a little bit of variation. So I use this for when I'm doing ghetto ancho. Oh, you guys can't even see that because it's too far away. Yep, with a Jovo nib. Yeah! I had that one ground. No, that one wasn't ground at the LA or at the Philly Pen Show. I've had a couple ground. I need to send another Vanishing Point nib unit to Mike Masuyama in California and get him to customize another one for me. Those work, Devin. One of the there's a guy named Marcus in the business penmanship community who writes almost exclusively with the with the Bic disposable pens, and he loves them. He likes the way they feel. Pretty ghetto, super ghetto. Is there a... Yep, all of the ones in that first case and a bunch of the ones in the second box that I had are all flexi nibs. And then there's one more here that's at my desk that I need to get a new nib for. I want to get a Bach nib for it and ground. Maybe I'll do that at the Philly Pen Show this year. But this is a Schoen Pocket 6 fountain pen. I don't know what ink is in it right now. Oh, it's like a turquoise ink. But this has a unique grind. I need to get this grind tweaked as well. It's like there's not ink in here, but... Oh, there we go. So this one is kind of the opposite of this nib here. It's... When I write with it normally, it's fine. It's a really fine pen or tip. But then when I turn it upside down, I get that line variation. So I could write, if I wanted to write something like, get a lunchel again. I could with that one. I don't remember what it's called. It's one of, Nick, Bacchus. What's his first name? I can't remember his name. Bacchus is his last name. Is it his architect point? Yeah, anyways, I like that one. But I don't use it too much. So I want to get another nib for it that I can swap up between them. But I got this essentially... Mark Bacchus! There we go. Thank you, Marilyn. This is like just a chuck in my backpack, carry everywhere. Doesn't matter if it gets scratched up or anything. Just a tiny little, easy to carry around pen to have. And those are my fountain pens. Or some of them. I have to get rid of a lot of them because I don't use them. Okay, let's say we get back to writing. Pocket pens are fun. I just find I don't use my fountain pens nearly as much as I used to. I was into fountain pens before I got into penmanship or calligraphy or anything. And as I got better at penmanship, and as I liked these extremely fine hairlines more and more and more, I started using my fountain pens less and less, basically. So, like with this one, I use this for business penmanship because it has an extra fine point on it. It has a really dark ink in it at the moment, though. So it's good for note... Whoa, I'm not even on the page. Sorry. So it's good for note-taking and whatnot, but I do need to get it tweaked because I think over the years since I got it, it's not as fine as it used to be. So I want to send it to Mike Masuyama, since I don't go to the LA Pen Show anymore, and see if he can tweak it and sharpen it up a little bit for me. Because I don't want to do those myself. I used to grind fountain pens a little bit myself, but only cheapy ones. And that one is not a cheapy one. Nice, George. A true bleed out. You should, Marilyn. I mean, if I could, I'm good friends with Mark Bacchus and a lot of other fountain pen people and nib meisters and whatnot, but when it comes to, Mike Masuyama is my favorite nib meister for grinding. If I could only send my pens to one person, personally, I would send them to him. Nothing against the other ones. A lot of the other Nib Meisters, there's a lot of Nib Smiths and Nib Meisters and people out there that do really good work. I just really like Mike Masuyama. And I used to go see him all every year at the LA Pen Show, but now I can't do that anymore. So oh yeah, it was at the exact same time. Yeah, the extra fine vanishing point from the factory isn't all that fine. It's maybe fountain pen fine, but it's not fine in the realm of penmanship. I always have to show Nib Meisters and whatnot, and this is why I like using Nib Meisters that know the work I use, or the work I do, because when I show them hairlines like that, like when I say I want my fountain pen to do that, most fountain pen users wouldn't want that because it would snag on too many papers and it would be annoying to use and things like that, but it's perfect for me. Some may use an Arkansas stone. I'm assuming most use like an emery wheel. Different Nib Meisters have different techniques and whatnot, but the same type of tools are used. It's just more, it's much finer, and because it's not a cheap material like a spring steel that doesn't cost anything, like the vanishing point nibs, that's an 18 karat nib, I believe this one is. Yeah, it's an 18 karat gold nib. So I don't want to do it myself because that's expensive. I don't want to ruin it. Fountainstein. Fountain pen inks some are really good. I don't like how much they stain. Granted, when it comes to inks, I mean, I like iron gall and walnut basically. I do like, every time I use my fountain pens, I do enjoy having the different color inks and messing with, I mean, I like writing with fountain pens a lot. I just, I gotta get more fountain pens that write the way that I want them to, or get my fountain pens to write the way that I want them to. Which is extra fine. I'm not a huge fan of flexi fountain pens, really, for the most part. There are some penmen and calligraphers who are capable and they get amazing work out of them. I think one of them that comes to mind initially is Chin. Her work with fountain pens is absolutely gorgeous. But I never really enjoy the writing experience of doing like ornamental penmanship or shaded writing with a fountain pen. I never really have. I have a lot of flexi fountain pens, and I don't use any of them. The only fountain pens I really enjoy using these days are my extra fine ones. Or I have the flexi ones, and the only strokes that I add flex to are like the top of a D and a T, because I can just add a very, very fine shade. I don't shade any capitals or anything like that. Yep, it's Noodler's Blue Ghost is the black light ink that I use. What ink was it, Ojaswini? Was it Apache Sunset? I know Nathan has a yellow-orange color called Apache Sunset. But shade's really, really nice in broad pens. Pelikan 4001 is nice. That's what I use for when I have black inks in my pens. Because it's on average sort of a drier ink, I would say. Ooh, that was supposed to be an L. Oh well, it's half instead of half. Not a word. Some of them do. It depends. Not all fountain pen inks bleed. I mean, the cool thing about fountain pen inks is there are thousands and thousands and thousands of fountain pen inks. And the main thing I like about them is there's lots of colors, and unlike calligraphy gouaches and things like that, you don't have to do anything. You just open the jar and use it. Or open the bottle and you're good to go. Which is lovely. I don't like inks that I have to mix and beat and things. Yeah, Monteverde are very glidey. Ah, that's possible, Hody. It's pretty humid. Humid. Do, 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 do. But if you do that, then you can't use it in your fountain pens. Gum Arabic is something that I have never added to any inks I've ever used. I know a lot of calligraphers swear by it and it's mandatory for some inks and things like that. I have never used it before. Why does my F go that direction? Stop it. How about you come straight down? You know, I don't think Lurker Leon's here today. He's taking the day off. Talk about a slacker. That works, Marilyn. That's a fun technique. To use the bleeding to your advantage. What's a fancy P? Did I do a fancy P? This one? Up here? I think that's the only P. Or this P. In pocket? That's awesome, Marilyn. The minuscules. Did I do a minuscule P? Where? These are, I mean, I guess, oh, these are Fs. But I guess I see what you're, it's an F. But I guess it's kind of an F with and a P. Ah, I've never thought of that as a P before. It's not a P though. I was very confused. I was like, what do you mean nice fancy P? That's just an F. And then I always do that circle over around for no reason. There's a lot of the exercises in the old books will have students do things like whoops, my angle starts to get off. But in business penmanship practice and stuff, connecting letters like that, and they'll do all of them because you can do pretty much. So you get a little bit of movement between each letter. It's totally a PF ligature. Or FP, I should say. Did a journal entry doing loops for all our minutes. Oh, that's fun. Monday? Wait, I'm not doing this very good, I don't think. Nope. That's not the way that it should probably be done. Yeah. Your favorite word to write is word? Oh, is the word writing. Got you. There was, who was it? Was it Mataraz that had a shaded Spencerian word? And it was like everyone had one of those. Was it Mataraz? Their connections look better though, because that doesn't look good. But there was one penman who did that back in the day. I can't remember who it was. Oh, when I was in Kansas City after Iampith, I found a print block of that. Remember that undershaded script that we were doing? The one that's super rounded and shaded on the bottom? That's written sort of like this or whatever? That one? I found a print block of it, which is kind of cool. Thanks, Diego. Appreciate it. That's why I'm here. I do things like that so you can feel good about when you try things and it works better than when I do it. Then you're good. I'm here to disappoint, Diego. This is no longer called Late Night Live. This is called Late Night Disappointment. Ladies and gentlemen, tune in next week to Late Night Disappointment, where we will be digging into our nibs that are on a timeout and entering Snap City. I'm here to disappoint. I'll add it. We'll add that to our t-shirt giant growing list of t-shirt quotes that I have to design. It is gonna happen. The t-shirts are happening. Now that I'm home, I'm in catch-up mode now. I have 1, 2, 3. Oh crap. I have 6 blotters I have to make and send out. And then once those are done, I can hopefully start doing more t-shirts. And I actually want to see if John Neal, I know they still have some of these shirts in stock, but I don't know if they're printing them, because if they don't, I want to reprint this one as well, because I really like it. And I want another one, because this one's wearing out. I mean, Just Winnie, you saw a very ghetto sample of Ghetto Unchel. And Gollum made an appearance. He did indeed. Smeagol doesn't usually make appearances. Oh, there's a ton of t-shirt ideas. I mean, it's gonna take me a while to get them out. I feel like, well, here, you guys can let me know. I feel like I want to do them in like, I don't want to just release like one t-shirt at a time. I think I'm gonna do like 5 of them, 3 of them, 5 of them, 3 or 5, and then I'll do them in chunks like that. So it'll be like lines, like how clothing lines have their seasons. Like, ooh, well, we have our spring line is the I'm here to disappoint apparel and whatnot. And my underbite line, and no, not underbite line, that's not going to be a thing, but yes, George, I can definitely agree with you on that. I will say, try to make a blotter and try to take photos. Blotters are one of the hardest things to photograph for me. They are so annoying. To get first the color of the leather right, especially if there's writing, then the color of the paper has to be right, and then the color of like the leather has to look true to the color of the leather. But then the foil has to look the proper color of the foil, but it's hard because it's reflecting light from the studio lights. Yeah, blotters are the hardest thing ever. And then shadows are a super issue. Like if you set up cool lighting to get cool shadows in the embossed parts, but then when you dress the thing, because what I'm taking the photo of is not sitting on the table, like when you're taking a picture of something, you can get good angles and the shadow can be behind the thing. But when you take it straight from above, there's always shadows in the way. Yeah, it is. Well, I'm also potentially just a really bad photographer or product photographer. But man, taking pictures of blotters, I won't call it stressful, but it is not easy. Whoa, what is going on? There's definitely... I knew something was wrong from the get-go. From that shade. I did not intend to make that shade. That was a fiber. Well, I hope you had a good ride, Mr. Fiber, because you are now done. I hope you enjoyed it while it lasted. While it lasted, you had your minute, your couple seconds of fame. Confuses everything. Earlier today, I was taking a photo of a stone blotter with gold. So they're both like in the warm tone sort of realm, getting those two colors. And if the lights aren't right, the gold just disappears into the stone. But if the lights are right, it like contrasts super beautifully. Wow. It's so hard to get good photos of that stuff sometimes. Ooh, that was a good C. Not a good second L. Not a good descender stroke. Oh well. I'm gonna be doing work on business penmanship lately, or in the coming time. I'm gonna be doing ornamental penmanship capital exercises and business penmanship lowercase exercises because I need work on my lowercase. Yes, natural light does make everything look good, but it can be tough when your schedule doesn't always work with the times of the day that natural light is coming into your apartment. Or, honestly, just the way my apartment and desk and everything is set up, sometimes the natural light will cast a shadow because I'm not outside or whatever. But I do agree, natural light is always best. But it just doesn't work. Crap. Well, there we go. Be disappointed. I messed up again. That's me too, George. My entire apartment is just basically it's all windows on one side, so I get a lot of natural daylight, but it's north facing, so it's just all no actual sunlight comes into my apartment. It's all just natural shade, I guess. Which is, I've been told, it's surprising for my neighbors that how they see my plants, and people are surprised that all my plants are doing so well when I'm in a north-facing apartment. But my plants seem to be killing it, so doing something right, I guess. I need to work on... I'm gonna try having this be angled that way instead of being horizontal. I feel like some penmen did that. or make that lower oval shorter, I think. My plants could use a little bit more sun though. I would like a little bit more. My Monstera needs a little bit more sunlight so that the leaves will get a little bit bigger. Don't kill your plants, George, you can do it. Survive them. Oh, what was I just gonna write? Oh yeah, I was gonna work on that stroke. Let's see, how do I do it naturally? I make that a large horizontal oval, but I don't like the way that looks all the time. I want it to transition from this, transitioning into that quicker. Maybe? Like an oval that goes down that direction? I know some penmen did that. I don't know if I like it or not. Let's see. Do I like that? Undecided. I think it's keeping it horizontal, but not going as far, and dipping up here quicker. So it's constantly in transition. I think, sorry, I'm just thinking out loud as I decide what I want this stroke to look like. Fake plants? Don't do that. Gotta get real plants. Usually that just means that they got overwatered. I'm pretty sure I definitely overwater I used to overwater my plants a lot. That's kind of the idea. If you're a plant killer, you just have to figure out what you're doing that's killing the plants. And then stop doing it. And then your problem solved. Oh no, Olivia, that's no good. He killed all of them? What did he do? How? Was it intentional? Has he been not getting enough attention, Olivia? Have you been giving the plants too much attention? So your husband decided to take them out? Remove them from the equation? Ah, Hody, yeah, that'll do it. I don't imagine plants like air conditioning all that much. Whoops. Is it September next week already? Whoa. How about you find the baseline, Mike? Oh, so he just didn't water them. Okay, bummer. Well, at least he didn't, like, try to save them or try to keep them healthy and fail. He just didn't do anything. Because it would have been, I would have felt bad if he like tried to water them and just like watered them too much. Yeah, that makes sense, Hody, for sure. See, it's this oval's too long. It goes too far that way. A little bit. Is the slant of the stem on the right side or the left side of the swell? Good question. Let's break down a capital stem real quick. Zoom in a little bit more. So the way I think of a capital stem, if we have, say in this example here, if I have, this is 52 degrees, which if we're saying that I'm going to write it 52 degrees, that's 52 degrees. So personally, when I shade, I don't want my shade to ever go outside to the right side of that stem. So if I'm coming down from up here, if I'm coming down, I don't want my shade to go to the right of that line. I want it to come down this way in a nice undercurve going the opposite direction, but in an undercurve down there. And then, so then this is on the baseline and it comes up. So the right tine is going along that slant line and then curving before it hits the baseline. So ideally, like when we're doing, this is a lot easier when we do stems like that. It's a lot easier to get that, so we have our slant line and everything is going to the left. Otherwise you get the term that I call potbelly shades, which is when you have, when you're coming down here, and this is a bad example, but when you get this going out on the right hand side, whoops, sorry. Now, when we have like this stroke I'm doing up here, it's not coming from a straight line. So there's a little bit of sort of guesswork is the wrong word, but there's some decisions we get to make. And that's if we're coming around along this shape, if this is our oval that we're creating, like so, if we have an oval that's like an oval bisecting the 52 degree slant line would be there, but I'm going to start it a little bit farther out to the right or to the left and come down here. Now, for the way I look at it, I think of the rightmost part of that stem. I consider that the same as this line we have here. So as soon as it gets there, this is where we're going as if we're straight down, and then we have our undercurve, which probably go a little bit to the left of that one, and then we're here to get our shade. So it's rounded coming in, and we're just deciding where that point is. And there's different degrees of, like for say a capital M, this could look okay, but sometimes you might like the look of it to come up here and straighten out for a moment. So you do like an asymmetrical entry a little bit so that you have this line coming down your slant line. So then you can have your undercurve into that stroke there. And then you don't, the reason I like to do this for, say, the capital M, is then when you do the next two lines, or the N, when you do your next over curve, the space you have in here isn't quite as big. Whereas if I did that off of here, I have quite a lot of space in there. And it's not wrong, but to my eye, this looks a lot nicer, and I get a better cascade going from these two lines, or these two curves. So that's how I like to think of the M. I do a large oval, and I try to just flatten it out just for a second, just from like here to here. Just a little bit before I get in. Most of the time, like as an example, if we look at just say this one, same idea. If I were to do my M off of here, now these angles are fighting themselves. Like this, my M is obviously on slant, or the second stroke of the M is on slant. But this, if I just look at this oval, it can tend to look like it's going sort of, well, the oval is on slant-ish, but it looks like it's more vertical than my 52-degree slant line. And that happens for me quite a lot when I do this stroke. So I need to work on bringing this line over to the right before I come down. But to answer your question, the way I look at it, the shade is all on the left side of your stem. So even like if we have the compound curve stem, we curve into it, and then we're going straight down the slant line. Whoops. Let me get in frame here so you can see what I'm doing. So I can curve into my stem for, say, a capital P or something. I curve in, I come down the slant line, and then I shade out. So we have this nice curve down here. My 52-degree slant line is right there. Now this could technically have gone, it could be a little bit flatter down here if we wanted it to be. But it doesn't bubble out. We don't get that shape that's like that, where it doesn't bubble out. And that's what I call a potbelly shade. Yeah, this is the educational portion of today. For those of you who've hung out for the past couple hours, now I'll teach something. The only exception to that, like when I say this potbelly, I never like to have a potbelly. But when we get into the capital S and capital L, they look like they have a potbelly. I have to get a new sheet of paper here. Oh, don't fall, papers. Let me get a new sheet of paper. Yeah. I wish it would look a lot better if this was all on one sheet of paper, but that's alright. I ran out of space. Okay, so, potbelly shade. Now, the S and the L look like they have a potbelly shade. They don't, but they look like they have one. So oftentimes when I teach and I use the term potbelly shade and we're doing the S's and L's, people think they're doing something wrong because I talk about the potbelly shade and talk about how you should try to not do them and things like that. And there was Penman in the past. I mean, it happens to all of us, but ideally we don't want them to happen. So, if we go back to that compound curve stroke, we have our compound curve into the slant line, 52 degrees. Well, I shaded very last minute there. I was gonna go down to here, but then decided that was too far. So, ignore the way I wrote that, and let me just draw it in here. Cheating. Doesn't matter though, you get the idea. So we have this, our 52 degree slant line. There's a fiber in my nib. Get out, you don't belong. Go away. There we go. So we have our 52 degree slant line, and the shade doesn't leave to the left of it. Now, if I were to do, say, a capital S, if we do a capital, whoa, sorry, I was off frame, but that's all right. If we do the capital S, you'll see this looks like if we compare it to this one, right on the slant line, shades all going to the left. This one, if I go my slant line, this looks like it has the shape of the potbelly that we were talking about. But because for the S, the part that is bisected by the baseline is this oval. That is our, well, this is a little too slanted, but that's the line. So our stem is here, which is more vertical than any other letters, and this is only used for the capital S and capital L. But that the straight part of our compound curve stem, so the part from like here to here, the part that's straight down the slant line is here. It's more vertical on the S and the L. So if we follow that same rule, if that's our slant line, this shade isn't potbellying out. It's staying on the left of that line right there. So yeah, when we do the S and the L, this oval bisects our slant line. We compound curve. We have our straight line going more vertical. And then we can shade. So this one got kind of wonky, but ideally, the shape we have there, or that's our stem line, like we have here. On the S and the L, it's not on the 52-degree slant line. Yeah, it's like 55, probably like it might even be like 60 or something like that. It's just much more vertical in any case, and that depends. That's not like a set rule of what it has to be. There are examples of, like, you can do an S. You can do an S. Sorry, let me get in frame here. That comes down on the slant line and shades this way. This is an ugly example, but it can be done. The only thing that's different is then this oval up here ends up not bisecting the writing slant line, and that whole letter can look like it's leaning too much compared to another letter that's on the proper slant line. So that's why it's sort of brought more, the slant line of the S and the L are brought more vertical. It's not really taught that way. That's just that's my own observation. And how you can see the shades are not potbelly when they look like they're rounded out. They're not. They're the same shape as this. They're just tipped a little bit. Yeah, that's how I like to break those ones down. Easier said than done with movement and whatnot, but that's the idea. So when you're doing these strokes, it's always like that one has a little bit of a potbelly. You want to keep the shade going to the left. When I do it, I focus on this path, and then the pressure creates that path. Is how I do it. You could focus on the middle and press and it'll evenly go to both sides, but it's just, the nib is always doing the same thing, creating it. It's just mentality wise, what I think about when I do it is this stroke here, and when I apply pressure, my right tie naturally will follow along the slant line. Well, good night, Rose. Very nice to see you, and we'll see you next week. We gotta think of a theme or something next week, so it's not just me randomly writing as I do. So you can see all of those ones. They're not perfect, but the slant line you can see is rather vertical on all of them. But that top oval is bisecting on our slant line, so it gives the whole letter the idea that it's on, the letter's on slant. We tip the stem so that the letter can look like it's on slant. Minuscule, oh, we could do business penmanship next week, potentially. We could say farewell to shades, and we could work on minuscules next week, and actually do like a session of minuscule practice, and you guys can follow along or whatever. Maybe I'll put up a poll and see if people are into that idea. That could be fun. Since I have to work on my lowercase anyways. Themeless nights are kind of fun because they go anywhere. And sometimes we get random ideas, and sometimes... I remember there was one a long time ago where the chat was just like, you guys were just on your own thing, just talking about whatever, and I just kept looking up and writing random words from the chat, or topics from what the chat was talking about, and then I was commenting on as well, but it was just sort of like a the first 2 hours, I feel like, or at least the first hour was just me doing how I practice myself, which I listen to audiobooks and I just write random words that I hear. That's my fun practice, not dedicated practice. Dedicated practice is more serious, but I don't do that on stream because it requires focus. It's hard to do serious practice when I'm streaming. That's true, that does happen a lot. I don't know if I have the energy to go into... I know blacklight is 10 minutes away. I don't know if I have energy for blacklight tonight. There's a fiber. I think it left during that shade, though. Ugh, what an ugly... Look at that ugly hairline. Bleh. All that, no good. Then it got good. The fiber's right there. It was hitchhiking. Randomness can be very fun. Do I get inky fingers with it like you do other fountain pen inks? When I'm doing... Are we talking about... Like when I'm just doing penmanship like this? My fingers are never inky when I do penmanship. My fingers are... I mean, other than when I mess with fountain pens, I get ink on them. But my hands... Well, there's more fountain pen ink. It gets everywhere. But I never get dirty when I'm dipping. Fountain pens just make a mess. Oh, the black light. Nope. It's because it's dipping, so it's the same. When I put it in a fountain pen, I get inky. Ooh. That's not a bad capital D. I do not love being inky. I like when my hands stay nice and clean. Oh, no good. Oval's going off in the wrong direction. Yeah, the blacklight ink is clear. It's a little, I mean, it's in regular daylight. It doesn't, I mean, I could dip my hands in the blacklight ink and you wouldn't really be able to see it on my hands at all. It's just under the blacklight, it gets everywhere. I have no confidence with the capital D, that's the problem. There's no consistency because there's no confidence. And that's no good. I can imagine Marilyn. Being a fountain pen enthusiast and a surgeon would be very scrubby. Nice, George. Do the have you scanned that yet, or have you compiled that yet, George? Not saying it to rush you. I know you were ill and you're getting back to life, but do you has that been scanned, or what are your plans for making that viewable? Or do you still have it, or is it with the archive yet? D is a struggle, I agree. Ugh. My ovals always go in that direction when I do the capital D, and I don't know why. I just don't know why. See, it happened right there. That one. No good. Why does my pen like to do that? Whoa. Inconsistent ending ovals. Oh, okay. Cool. That's awesome. I look forward to seeing them all scanned and put together and whatnot. That thing looked pretty cool. Oh, did you not see it when all the words were there, Lori? Oh, that looks like an H. Darn it. I was like, ooh, I know a cool way I can do a D, but it looks like an H. What if I don't do a shade? I want to cheat and do a D a different way. Well, that's still the wrong angle. Same issue. That one wasn't too bad. Decent. Ooh, and a decent O. And a decent E. And a decent C. What other letters are used in this shade? I guess we can do an A. It's at a slightly different angle, but not a bad A. Not the best A. You lost it? Did you find it again? I mean, Diego is just a pain in general, I'm pretty sure. That's just the way it is. He doesn't have a choice. The reverse D? Whoa. Huh. Well, how about that? Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe it's midnight. Gotta change up the music. Happy midnight. Oh, we haven't made it to midnight. Well, I guess we haven't done anything in 3 weeks. You know what? Hold up 1 second. Not that one. This one. I should have got this out earlier. Okay, well, I'm glad it was found. That's nice. Such a pain, Diego. I'm glad I got mine done. I was really nervous that I wasn't going to get it finished. Look how cool this pen looks under the black light. It super glows. This is the green one. It doesn't look like a pen that would glow under black light. It's like a forest green color. But under black light, it's like rave pen. It's a glow stick. But I'm looking for this pen. Bing. Radioactive green bowls. That was... I don't remember the model number, but it's a Franklin Christoph. Whoa. It's the one I showed earlier with the stub nib in it. I guess it wasn't technically a stub though. I guess it's a, not a stub. It's a, what's the word I'm looking for? Italic. Italic? I don't know. I don't remember the terminology for fountain pens. Now, if I remember correctly, what did we do last time? We did this. Oh yeah. Was it the hue shift? That's the one. Let's go more of a normal color today. Oh, you can't see me at all. Can I be visible in here? A little bit. Not really. Oh, that's fun. It just looks like it's coming out of nowhere. Uh-oh. My fountain pen had lots of ink in it. What's happening? Maybe my converter's being funky. See, fountain pens are just problematic. They're just messy. Ah! I have a marble like that, George. I have a marble that was, that has uranium glass. I bought it when I was on my way to Omaha with Skylar, actually, but I don't know where it is. I misplaced it. Maybe I am writing in Procreate. Whoops! That's an M, not a... an N like it's supposed to be. Oh, you didn't see it. Welcome to Procreate Night Live. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go, that's better. Whoa, why are my G's so messed up? That's better. Yep, it was slightly green. Oh, welcome, Nat. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for hanging out until midnight. Oh, maybe there is a piece of kryptonite inside my pen, George. Maybe there is. Anyways, kind of fun. Oh, what just happened? Oh, nothing important. The fountain pen, though, this fountain pen, unfortunately, the ink starts to, oh, you can't really see. The ink starts to pool under the nib, between the nib and the feed. It'll slowly, as I write more and more, I think it's the temperature of my hand in this one. It slowly will get like a bead of ink on the end, and I'll have to dab it off on a paper towel or something. Let's get a fresh paper towel for cleaning this out. Pew, 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 pew. Clean my nib off real quick. Oh, this nib is dirty. Why is it so dirty? Glow. Glow, low, low. I'm glad we experimented last time with the contrast to discover that I could make this look like this, because it looks cool. That you can twerk to. Heck yeah. I won't, but I could. No, I couldn't. I don't twerk. I don't twerk. You want pink? We can go pink. If you insist. Whoop. Pink. Whoa. Whoop. Ah. Twerk a book, make them pages clap. That's hilarious. Twerk a book. Make them pages clap. Oh, good night, Marilyn. Thanks for hanging out, as always. Have a good day tomorrow. Oh, this is gonna get really bright when I take this off. Sorry. Oh no, not that bright. Sweet. Here, I'm gonna answer your question in 1 second. Let me just grab another sheet of paper here. So you're having trouble writing the word within. Possibly because of W, I, and T together. What should you watch out for? So the big thing, or one thing to think of, when you're doing your W, and it's keeping the distance the same between all of them to go to this one. Allow this space to be here. Don't worry about dipping down too much. So that's essentially what you're creating when you write within. You're making a W, a U, an N, an I, and an N. Essentially. Those are the important parts. These are the parts that make the letter look good, and then the part that make it look like it says within is we have a dot there, we have a shade here, and we have an ascender stroke here. Whoops, that's an ugly ascender, but you get the idea. And then a dot there. So the key is getting the spacing of the W. So write like a W, U, N, I, N, and get that spacing figured out, and then you know what it has to look like before you add the extra stuff. So once that spacing is nice and even, obviously you'd never actually write it this way, but and then once you understand the look of it, well, and technically, I said W-U-N-I-N. It's an N, this H-N, but you don't compound curve into it, so it's not actually an N. So then when you're writing, you just have to keep that spacing in mind when you go from the W to your I, that darting space, and then the T, you go up into just like you were doing another I, and you lift, come down with the shade, and then from here you go down to the baseline and you do your full ascender. Then you lift at the baseline, or at the X height, sorry. Then you come back down and do your downstroke to make an N. Then you just have your I and your ending N. And you're good. Within. Woonin'. Yep. What y'all know about woonin'? Woonin'. Oh, and just for Ojaswini, we can do... Because apparently that's a P. Oh, you're very welcome, Nat. I hope that helps. I think the only real, like, the tricky part is just making sure that with the W, your spacing is even from the W. I mean, it's going to be a little bit more here. This is like 1 space, and this is 1 1/4 space, technically, if we're getting into, like, traditional Spencerian rules. But you want to keep those spaces relatively even. Pfink. Pfink. What y'all know about pfink? Pfink. See, that could be a kind of ink. Oh, if somebody made a fluorescent pink ink, they could sell it as pfink. Oh, ugly shade. Let's try that again. To there was no good. The rest was I was happy with. I sped up. I gotta stay relaxed all the way to the end. Whoa, wait a minute. If our thing is pink, I should also be pink. Wait. Pew! That's better. Now I'm pink too. You can't see my face, but I'm pink. Oh, flamingo pink, so that's pink. Or if it's flamingo pink, is it f-pink? We need pink flamingo ink. Ooh, pink flamingo ink. Pink. Or pink. Let's try this P again, shall we? I did it again. Ugly. I'm not satisfied with that. That doesn't look good in there. How can I make that look good? P's with F's coming after them. Well, I guess we could do the variation of the P. Think. Think. We could do the variation of the P that sits on the baseline. I don't know if I should have done that little extra loop on the P, but why not? Well, but now it looks like poof pink. I shouldn't have done that extra loop. I got loopy excited. There we go. Pink. Somebody just has to make the ink now. I'm doing all this. Their logo's done already. Their branding finished. I wish that was a little bit lower. That's true. Think. Yep. What you think you're talking about? You don't know what you mean. Think. Yo, go get that thermometer. Think. That's the design that goes on the back of the t-shirts. Accents. British is well, I've been listening to a lot of Harry Potter lately. So, I have British on the brain. British on the brain. Oh, ruined it. I was trying to get super loopy. Think. Okay, I have to write that, Ojaswinny. That's awesome. Yeah, I gotta talk to Fox and Quills. We're gonna do some rebranding for their flamingo pink ink. Well, here, what does it look like? Think. What was it? I want to try that B one more time because it was super loopy. First. Shade wasn't the best at the end, but that's kind of fun. Why not? Ew! What is that? There's an eye looking at that. Crying. Because it's very sad. Oh, I want to be able to do that exit stroke. I should be able to do that exit stroke. It shouldn't be that hard. I freaked out before the shade. To make it, I was nervous to go through here. To cut through the K again. It's still not that good, but that's better. It's also kind of looks like, when I look at it on the screen, it's like a weird version of the Eye of Ra. That was not the intention. Pink Floyd. He has pink eye. Oh, we are a clever bunch tonight. Pink eye. Pink eye. Pink. Did a bug just fly into that? What is that? I think a bug just died. You can't see it, obviously, because it's all contrasty. The shade of this bee, I'm pointing at it, you can't even see. The shade of that bee, a little bug just flew into the ink swell and is now, I think, drowning. Or it's now dead. It died. It definitely got pink eye. Pink eye. What do you think about that? What do you? What do you think? I can't save Think Bug. He's dead. Yeah, he's a goner. You guys ever seen the Finks before? He didn't think when he flew. You guys realize this is like one of my favorite things to do. This is why I have like super slow Thursdays and things like that. Think. He didn't think when he flew. Silly bug. Finks should be one of your ferns. Oh, I could name one of my ferns Finks, I suppose. If I keep them, the little ones. Ooh, I'm going through a lot of paper today. Ooh, that is very bright. That is glowy. Glowy! Ooh, you can see my face now. This music is intense today. Bow, 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 bow. Yeah, there's another. Friends of Penmanship. That was an intense song. Wow. Froze up. Oh, I thought of a really cool ligature. I haven't got it to work yet, but for HP Baronsmeyer the other day. Was darklit. Well played. Yeah, I thought of a cool, because HP Baronsmeyer, he would sometimes use ligatures in his signatures, and I thought of a cool, oh, do I even remember what it was anymore? It was like that, and then I think it went, oh, but without that little loop in it. Wait, I forgot the H. Nope, that's not right. Let me try again. That's just BP. Boston Pizza, or Poston Pizza. What y'all know about Poston Pizza? Okay, let's try this again. That one, then we have the H. That had to be in there. Then how did I... Was it that? That doesn't look right. That's not right. But it was something like that. It was like one letter. Boston. Now we're getting out of hand. Just adding way too many sounds before words. Okay, wait. This could work if I shade that P stroke a little bit. Maybe. And make, whoa, whoops. That's supposed to be on slant. And it's not. What if we bring this all the way from over here? Ooh, we could drop the B down below the baseline. That could be cool. Let's try this again. It's a neat combo. I don't know if I don't know if people would like it, but it happened accidentally the other day, and I remember just thinking, oh, that could work, and then I never thought about it anymore, but now I want to see if I can make it actually work. There we go. And then this goes like so. That looks kind of neat. Now I want to write. I have to search something really quickly. Okay, now I gotta make this shade nice and big. Yeah! That looks so cool! High blood pressure. I would imagine high blood pressure wouldn't be very enjoyable. Fun! I'm wondering if this H would look better with just like a tick mark. Like if it was just one of these. One of those instead. No, maybe not. Okay, I want to try to write that whole thing again. That turned out cool. I like that. Yay! Hooray! Let's try again. More ink. Okay. Oh, it didn't work as good. I still think it's cool though. I need to get this shade bigger. We gotta do it like Blozer would do it. Ish. Do-do-do-do. Fun, fun, fun. It's like a monogram, kind of. Fun. Fun, fun, fun. Fun, 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 fun. Fun, fun, fun. Do-do-do-do. I'm really enjoying my hand today. That sounds really weird to say, but it's writing really good. The key is just, I mean, you can dip more often. I would say another thing to keep in mind when you're trying to do like signatures that have a lot of big swells in them and stuff, dip fast. Or when you pull your nib out of your ink, go faster than you normally would. The slower you go, like if you're doing just lowercase letters, I would dip slow, because you don't need a huge pool of ink. But if you dip faster, more ink is going to be sort of trapped underneath your nib, and then you'll have more there. And you got to also make sure that the bottom of your nib is prepped really nice so that you can store quite a bit of ink there. It's surprising how many big swells you can get in one stroke sometimes. It shocks me from time to time. An oink ligature? What are you talking about? Probably not a bad idea, George. You gotta get them on your side. If they're against you, I mean, if you've been putting them in timeout and haven't been, like, letting them out to get sun, I mean, if you don't talk to them, they maybe not gonna do the best work for you. Words to live by. Oh, that would be amazing, George. That would be lovely. I feel like this might be another t-shirt design idea. I have to snazzy it up a little bit, but nice and simple. I gotta get on that shirt designing train. I apparently have a lot of work to do. How many people are still kicking it in the chat today? We got a few people left in here. I mean, principalities would be lovely. Alright, ladies and gents. I do believe that's gonna be it for me today. I didn't know if I was gonna have energy to go past midnight, but I'm kinda glad I did, because there was a whole lot of randomness. Doing friends and think talking and talking about the finks. It's a good session. I had a good session tonight. I'll have to timestamp that random little, I think there was 2 educational moments, 1 actual educational moment today. Ashok's still here. I like that Ashok's just been kicking it, chilling, lurking. I think I will. I'm gonna add this to the t-shirt list, because I think it's a cool idea. You see what's happening to, like, look at this bee. Unfortunately, this paper has started, I don't think it used to, something about either my ink or this paper, like the bee, it starts to bleed, like the ends, when it sits for quite a while, because the swells are so thick. So these quote-unquote specimens aren't very great for longevity in blacklight. They're with better paper, but I'm not using, I'm using really smooth paper. I need to use the textured paper for it to work. But anyways, ooh, this is a fun song. Now I feel bad cutting it off on such a fun song. But the time has come to go to bed. It is late. I need to sleep. But this has been really fun. I look forward to next week. I'm not going to say we're doing lowercase letters, but maybe we'll do like a lowercase practice session next week. And we'll do some business penmanship drills and exercises, and people can follow along. Maybe next week will be lowercase week. Oh, awesome. Yeah, email me or DM me your address, Ashok, and I'll write you a new letter, and then I'll mail you your letters. I don't know how many I have here now for you. I gotta start writing letters to people as well. I was talking to somebody earlier today about a P.O. box, so that I can accept more letters, so I can have an excuse to write more people. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with me today. It was a blast. Be sure that you are falling in love with the process. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget that life should be just a bit of silliness, really. See you next week, everybody. Have a good night.